Welcome. This is where we get to talk and debate about all things paranormal, strange, and just plain weird. And from time to time, we're going to have special guests joining us. Those who investigate ghosts, haunted places, hunt Bigfoot, chase UFOs, discover metaphysical mysteries, and uncover the truth surrounding urban legends and myths. I'm Jackie Meador, Director of Central California Paranormal Investigators, and sitting next to me is my co-host, Montra Freitas of Blue North Investigations, and a member of the Ultimate Female Sasquatch Team. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
We have a great episode tonight with a special guest. She's clairvoyant, a psychic, medium, master Reiki therapist, spiritual teacher, and life coach, ghost hunter, and knowledgeable in energy work with expertise in negative energy. Just the person we need to talk to about tonight's topic, spirit attachments and possessions. My friend Jackie Harris of Enlightenment, the Right-Hand Path. I'm so glad I got you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I got you.
Glad to be here.
I finally got her here. Well, how you been?
I am doing wonderful.
Good.
Life is good.
Good.
Life is great. Business is great.
Well, we've already introduced you to our audience, and we're going to talk to you about your personal journey and see, and give them a chance to get to know you as well as I do. Well, probably not as well as I do.
Thank goodness.
Jackie and I used to work together. She was on the CCPI team for a while, and then she was our kind of resident psychic, and you know I hate that word, but kind of consultant, and we would investigate together, and we definitely had some adventures. That's for sure.
It's never boring.
Never boring. Anyway, we're gonna find out a little bit more about her and see what she's been up to and where she's headed.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with you're clairvoyant. When did you know you were gifted? When did it dawn on you that other people weren't seeing the same things you were?
I think I was probably, it happened to me about 12 years ago.
Okay.
I was waking up in the middle of the night and feeling and seeing spirit around me or above me or sitting next to me. That started to happen. And then I ignored it, and later on started to see them in broad daylight. Started to see apparitions and energy or clouds going through walls.
And you didn't see all that before?
No.
Or do you think maybe you suppressed it?
No, it just started to
Really?
Progress. Yeah,
Really?
It started to.
Well,
get
that's
stronger.
curious. Just curious, because usually it takes some kind of a traumatic, maybe a head injury, or to be awakened like that. So, but that didn't happen to you, as far as I know, anyway.
No,
So-
nothing like that. You know, I was experiencing depression, experiencing mood swings and things like that. But you know, I was going through a really difficult time
Okay.
mentally, and thought maybe I was experiencing some mental illness. And I thought that those spirits were part of the mental illness. So it was actually pretty serious when it happened. I was very concerned.
Yeah.
I wasn't amazed.
You
No, I was like, ooh.
Wow.
And didn't realize it. So when did you realize it was a gift? About 12 years ago?
Yeah, it was about, 12 years ago is when I started to see things, but I let that simmer for a little while and went down the road that most people do. You know, go take medication, go get therapy, don't tell anyone what you're seeing, and try to ignore it.
Right.
And then a couple years later, I started to read. I admired Sylvia Brown, started to read about different psychics, and I thought, I wonder if that's what's going on with me.
And then you took my class.
And then I took your class, and my life has changed ever since. I mean, dramatically.
And I remember
I'm serious.
you
Yeah.
sat in the front row,
Yeah.
and I'd be lecturing towards the middle, and I'd look at you, and you had this deadpan expression. You didn't smile, you didn't scowl, you didn't do anything. You just it was
Scared.
Yeah. Were you really?
I was scared.
I didn't pick up the scared,
Yeah.
but you know I'm not psychic.
Well, this was make or break for me. You know,
Oh, really?
going to your class was make or break because I read your description of Paranormal 101 that you were going to take us to a haunted location. And I thought to myself, this is it. If this place is really haunted and she takes me there and I'm seeing the things that I'm seeing every day, then it's a gift. If I go there and it's haunted and I'm not seeing these things, then I'm insane or I've got a problem. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I was there. It was make or break for me.
I mean, I knew a little bit of that, but I didn't realize it was that crucial for you.
It really was, because it runs in my family, and so I didn't want to be like that.
Right.
And it's much better to be gifted and be special, than be a victim of, mental illness.
And that was the day, that was the investigation that you got that picture in the parking lot. God, you gotta see this picture, it's dynamite.
Yeah, I want to see it.
I'll put it up.
Okay.
But yeah, and there was a group of us, and we were standing in the middle of the parking lot, and took one picture, and then she took another picture, and when we looked at the picture, she showed them in class. There was all this mist and fog around us, and it had moved, and you can see us standing there.
Yeah.
And I had my jacket on, my CCPI jacket on. It was an awesome picture. It was really a good catch.
Wow.
Really
Great.
Super good catch.
Yeah.
Of course, it was not there, because the fog kind of just enveloped us. And I didn't feel a thing,
Yeah, you're like me. I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
I could be hit over the head.
Well, I found out something new too.
Oh, what? What'd you find out?
That it was crucial for you to explore the paranormal side, to find out if you were going crazy or there was really something to the gift.
That really was why I took your class. I wasn't interested in being a ghost hunter. I didn't even know there were ghost hunters at the time. I wasn't interested in the scientific part of it at all. I just thought, let's get to the trip, which I then found out that was at the end of, 6 weeks?
Yeah.
I'm like, darn it, I got to go through 6 weeks of this to figure out if I'm gifted or not, And then the funny thing is I remember telling you, you said, why did you take the class? And I remember saying, well, I might be a little sensitive. And I'll never forget, you turned around, the class was full, you turned around and you said, we have a psychic in the class, and I was just booted out of the closet like that instantly.
Really?
Yeah, you booted me out of the
I
psychic
did.
closet immediately.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I better watch
Good thing I
that.
ended up psychic, so it was okay.
Well, then it wasn't, but I'm sure
Yeah.
you were probably a little disappointed in me.
Well, maybe popular because everybody wanted to work with the psychic,
Right.
But I was scared to death. And
We sure didn't show it, because I didn't pick up on that. But,
No?
I'm not psychic. I'm not intuitive. Maybe I'm intuitive. I'm lucky.
yeah.
But, okay, so that we know, so that's what's really started you on your journey?
It has.
And, because we've worked together, we've investigated together,
Yeah.
and you've been on the team for a while, and, we've gone all over, done all kinds of different things. I
Yes.
refer people to you all the time, whether it's a house blessing or a reading or, because basically she's good at what she does. When you work with somebody, you know. So, and I'm very critical.
I was going to say, investigating with Jackie is an easy thing, and I'm so grateful for that because I was put on the spotlight immediately working with you. There was no hunches, or I think there might be this, or I think there might be that. It's, I think I feel a spirit, and the cameras were on, and the recorders were going, and you mean business. You're not in there to have a personal psychic experience. You're in there to get down to
Get the proof.
brass tacks. Yeah.
Yeah, I want the evidence.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah.
consider that a compliment.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, she's good at what she does.
Thank you.
All right. So you left me, basically. You left me.
Sad music playing. Put it on. Okay.
Oh, the smallest violin in the world. Okay. And then you went on to do your own thing, which is a good thing.
Yes.
Which is a good thing. But tell me how that's going. The Enlightenment, the right-hand path, and why you chose that name, and how you started, what you're doing.
Okay. Well, I continued investigating on my own for a while, and then I started to realize that there was more to it than just finding the ghosts and spirits. And I was starting to see the people side of it and how it was affecting people, and that they needed help and relief and comfort. And so I started to dabble in essential oils and herbs and things like that help to remedy the symptoms that people go through when they're experiencing a paranormal or a haunting. And as I started to create these products for myself to use for personal use, I started to give them to my clients in investigations or in house blessings. And eventually people were just telling me, why don't you sell these products? Why don't you have them where people can go get the crystals and things like that?
Yeah.
So I started to do that. I had a little small office and about 4 years ago. And now I've got 2 offices, and
2?
I've got 2.
You
Yeah.
get the one at Fig Garden?
Yes, I have one in Fig Garden, and then we have a private office in the back where we have a shop in Fig Garden.
Right.
So if you walk in, you're going to see a shop with all the
Right.
product. And then we
Okay.
have an office, private office in the back where I see my clients for readings.
Very
Yeah,
good.
for readings and,
So you're
and
expanding.
classes.
You're gonna be
Totally.
big- pretty soon you're going to be a
That's great.
franchise.
Total. No. But, I'd like to have a center eventually. I'd like to
Yeah.
have a spiritual center where
That would
people
be
can
nice.
go. Yeah.
That would be nice.
Now, are there other people in your family that are also sensitive too, or?
There are. Our family, my family, they're religious, and so they acknowledge the gift of prophecy. But that's about it.
Really?
The other stuff is kind of taboo. But I hear the stories of auntie this or grandma or did
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
So it does run in the actually on both sides. My
Does
family.
it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
So you're expanding. What do you see in the future? What do you see 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Where do you see you going next?
I see myself going in the next 5 years to a larger building.
You mentioned you want to open a center.
I want a center. I want to have rooms where people can go and meditate, where they can have different treatments, salt rooms where they can go and relax, a healing center that just kind of encompasses everything. And I have my wild ideas of, I would like to have a tattoo artist on site who can give spiritual tattoos and things like that, and a whole bunch of ideas.
And I should let people know too, she's a master Reiki
Yes.
therapist. She's licensed. She's insured. She's certified.
Yes.
She's, you name it, she's it. So,
Yes.
I remember when you went through all the classes and the training. so-
Yes, I did, and I still do that. I still I offer Reiki certifications all the way up to a master level. We do that quarterly, so there's always something going on. You'll be able to catch a class and be certified, and I'm on a national registry for Reiki.
Good.
So yeah, you're going to get great training, quality training.
So besides the Reiki training, what other classes do you offer?
I offer classes about magic, teaching people how to use crystals. I offer classes on spell work. I'm currently studying African American folk magic. So right now, a lot of my classes are surrounded around that. So I'll go through my phases of things that I'm learning. So,
Well, that's interesting.
yeah, but I do teach people how to burn candles, how to smudge, how to live a
We're
more
gonna talk
spiritual
about
life.
that, too.
Yeah. So they're all different subjects. Yeah.
Before I ask my next question, I read something that you wrote about yourself, and I want to read it.
Oh, okay.
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 And I think it's come off your website. This is what she has on her website. People have inquired about the work I do, and sometimes I am asked if I am a white witch. I don't identify with any labels because I work with energy that is ever changing. I do whatever needs to be done within the boundaries of my ethics to bring about the most beneficial result for my clients. I am not afraid to pull people out of a dark place, and why should I? I am a spiritual warrior with a strong sword and an army of protection. Root work is about standing up for others. Everyone deserves a chance or second chance at obtaining love, forgiveness, healing, a career, a family. I live for my passion, and I love what I do. I think that about sums it up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're gonna make my eyes water.
It's a passion, but it really feels like I've just stepped into what I was brought here to do. I can honestly say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well, I
That's awesome.
agree, and I've watched your journey from that obviously scared little girl when I first met you in my class, and then being thrown into the investigation work. I know I dragged you along many times, and I really know how to do this. I really know how to do this, Jackie. I really know how to do this. But dragging you along, and then finally to see you, out on your own and doing your thing and doing what you love and doing, fulfilling your passion and determination. And it is about helping others. I agree. It is about helping others, and I think you do that quite well.
Thank you.
I'm not even going to ask the next question. The next question, we know because we talked about it before the show, but I think that about covered it.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
would you, now that we can get into the show, because we're going to talk about spirit attachments and spirit possessions with Jackie. She has personal experience with those things, as well as smudging. And if we have time, we're going to talk about portals. But you want to start us off?
Well, I suppose I could.
Yeah.
So now we actually have
That's
you
right.
there.
I guess I'm starting off.
Yes, Jackie, would you like to start us off?
She's still in tears over there.
She's all messed up now.
I know.
She's
I'm
been
messed up
derailed over
already.
here.
Yeah.
She's all emotional.
Well, it touched me.
Yeah.
It did. It touched
Oh,
me.
I bet.
And-
It should. That's very awesome.
And
Okay.
it's because of her. It's no joke. It is
No,
because
it isn't.
it is because of her that this happened. Otherwise, I would be in some room somewhere.
Well, because
Padded room. Well,
Yeah,
I'm still
a
not
padded
sure-
room.
I'm still not sure we're not going to get there.
Serious.
somewhere down the line.
I'm using my Fifth Amendment rights at this time.
Yeah. You should not talk. Okay. So what is a spirit attachment? Well, according to the common definition, they have been known about by mediums and psychics for a very long time, but it's only now becoming a topic people are willing to talk about, many due to the interest in the paranormal. Some believe a spirit attachment is basically just what it says. A living person has the energy of spirit of a dead person attached to them. Many are parasitic, some mean, others are benign, and ranging from being temporary and unpleasant to long-term and terrifying. I know you have done a spirit attachment or a possession, I think.
Done them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know, what is your experience with spirit attachments?
A spirit attachment can happen to anybody. It can happen when a person is not well. It can happen when a person is feeling weak, or they've gone through something traumatic and their spirit is low, or their energy is low, depleted. I've found that there really is no rhyme or reason as to why someone gets it. And when I say that, gets a spirit attachment, I mean that it doesn't always happen to people who dabble in things they're not supposed to, or, oh, well, no wonder, they were doing this or that. No, it happens to everyday people. It happens to children, it happens to adults, it happens to clergy. It can happen to anyone.
But it's always happening to a person that are in a weakened state, whether it's mentally or physically.
It
correct?
seems like it. It doesn't seem to attach itself to people who are healthy and happy and, just doing their thing. It doesn't seem to happen to people like that.
Now, is it a spirit that's more needy, maybe, or is it more negative, like trying to draw energy, or is it just that it's needy, like it's...
There's different reasons why a spirit would attach. It seems that in some of the milder cases I've seen is where a spirit will attach to a family member because they're doing the things that person liked to do. Or maybe they're living in the home that resembles somewhere that they lived and loved, or that actual home itself, and they want to attach themselves to experience it or somehow live it.
And
through
you're
the
talking
person.
about an earthbound spirit.
An
That's
earthbound
pretty much
spirit.
what an earthbound spirit does. They
Yeah.
were happiest at one place, or they suffered a traumatic event, or they don't want to leave that house or the person in the house, or. But the attachment is when they actually latch on to a person and an object. Can they latch on to an object as well as a person?
Yes, they can. Yes, we had a case like that
Really?
where we had a spirit attachment that was bothering a young girl, And then when we went to the home to go check that out, we were together. When we went to go check that out,
Okay, I remember
we
the case.
located an
Yeah.
object that seemed to be the battery or the place where it would kind of plug in and manifest itself.
Okay.
So we removed the object from the home to kind of steal his home base.
Right.
And it weakened the spirit, and then we were able to go in and remove it.
And then and I know you did some training with her after so that she could take control because she was really
Yeah.
petrified, and so was her mother up to this
Yeah,
point.
she was gifted.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she needed some training on how to shield and control.
Yeah.
And she got that. And from what I understand, everything's really fine. She's doing
Yeah.
really well. So
The teenagers are a little bit vulnerable.
yes.
know.
Well, it's the hormones.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Could it have been too because she's gifted, so she's more of a magnet for that kind of
Oh,
thing?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Her light shines a little brighter, and they see that, and they're like, hey, go check her out for a while and see what we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I remember right, they pretty much told us that was it this case that he wasn't leaving, something like that.
Yeah, he didn't want to.
Yeah, he didn't want to leave.
Yeah, it took a little while.
Yeah. Well, so there you have it. So, okay. And I know when we were doing the research, I basically said what Jackie was saying. Some are confused, they don't know they're dead, but they latch on to the only living thing because they want to live again. And that's basically, so they're attaching on to, they don't really control the person. They just are living vicariously through that person's energy.
Correct. And the person, somebody may mistake that for a possession because they can change their mood and be irritable or do things that they don't normally do. But I think this is just a result of them not feeling like themselves.
Right.
So I don't feel too good, something's there, and they act irritable or...
Yeah, but we want to make this clear, they're not really possessed. So a spirit
No.
attachment is much different than a possession. So it can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. Like say sometimes the experience is terrifying, and sometimes it's just, you just got a hitchhiker and he just wants to experience some stuff before because he misses living.
Yes.
So,
I like the hitchhiker. Reminds me of the ones at the Disney one, the ones that go like this. You get in with them in the haunted house.
Well, I actually had one lady who, it's kind of funny, it was a positive attachment. The person was actually very affectionate toward her.
Oh.
And so when she would, and this might freak some people out, but when she would go to lay down, she could feel someone laying down next to her. Now, nothing happened to her, but she could just feel companionship. And she was actually a very lonely lady, and she didn't mind because it never got uncomfortable.
Right.
So she named him and let him coexist with her.
And
that-
so that would be a case where the person was, kind of a weakened state, maybe grieving, maybe sorry for the things they haven't done in their life or that kind of thing. And
But she never knew him in life.
No, she didn't know him, but she believed in reincarnation, and so she thought maybe it was a past love.
Okay.
And she wasn't comfortable removing it because I offered.
yeah,
I was concerned for her.
and she's happy with it though.
She's fine.
She's fine.
She's
You were
fine.
going to say something?
Yeah, but I don't remember what it was now.
Okay.
But I guess it would just depend on who the spirit was or is that was attached to her. I mean, how does she know it's not going to try and take it some weird step further and become like the entity,
No,
that thing?
we don't.
ugh.
We don't, and that was my concern for her because she was very comfortable with it and she enjoyed the companionship, and so I was a little concerned that maybe it would go too far, or,
Yeah.
and she would lose grip with reality. But no, she didn't. seem to, and there's no way of knowing.
And
So
that's
it's not something to be
possible.
played around with.
That's possible.
know,
For them to lose their grip on reality and maybe end up in a care facility of some kind. Interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
I'd have to make sure it was a queen size bed. Sorry.
No, she's not.
That's why I don't run a care facility.
She's not sorry about that.
So,
Let's
moving
move
forward.
on. Let's move
All
on.
right.
So what about spirit possessions? Now, Wikipedia says, this is Wikipedia, spirit possession is a term for the belief that animals, demons, extraterrestrials, gods, or spirits can take control of a human body. The concept of spirit possession exists in many religions, including Christianity, Buddhism, Haitian Voodoo, Wicca, Hinduism, Islam, and Southeast Asian and African traditions. In a 1969 study funded by the National Institute of Mental Health, Spirit possession beliefs were found to exist in 74% of a sample of 488 societies in all parts of the world. Now, depending on the cultural belief, possession may be considered voluntary or involuntary and may be considered to have beneficial or detrimental effects to the host. However, there is good news. Despite what you see on TV and in the movies, there are really not as many spirit attachments or possessions as people claim. Thank God. So,
Yeah, and we discussed this, I know, many times. You know, I'm not going to tell somebody that, no, there are no demons and there's no demonic possession, because I believe there are, but I think they're very rare and very, I mean, we've come across maybe two the time we were together, and, you know, in my career for 20 years, you know, maybe two. So, you know, one we know of, and then one maybe a possible. So, you know, it's just not, they're just not out there. And they're not as frequent as TV and the movies claim to be, you know. So, but they can be terrifying. When they do happen, they can be very, very terrifying.
it makes me kind of sad thinking that there might be even just one person in some mental institution that's actually not there because they're a little off the edge, but they're there because they have some sort of heavy duty
You're
problem.
right. Not too long ago, that was always the case. I mean, whether, you know, I mean, you didn't have mental illness. You were. I mean, it was unheard of 50 years ago or 100 years ago. It was, you were possessed by the devil.
Well, there was a story I read a long time ago, and it's stuck with me for many, many years. But it was a young girl who said that there was, and I'll never forget, it was a man floating behind her, and he had a cape on and bug eyes, and he kept scratching her. And they were like, oh, put her in the institution, she's Looney Tune. So they put her in a jail cell at that time because they didn't have anywhere else to put her. And they were watching her, and as they were watching her, scratches were appearing, and she was screaming.
Oh,
and they could
wow.
see scratches appear on this poor girl. And they were like, oh, well, maybe she's not crazy after all, but what do we do with her, you know? But it was really frightening because she could see this thing, and it was terrible for her. And the poor girl probably ended up at an institution of some kind.
Well,
Instead of getting any kind of help, because at that time they probably didn't have any help unless they called a priest or something, but they'd have to admit it wasn't a mental illness then.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, how many poor people have suffered? Hopefully not many, but good grief. That's terrifying.
Let's talk about the case you had where you had the audio recording. What some of the things that you saw when you were there? I know, if I remember right, they were pretty traumatic.
The person was laying down on a Reiki bed or a medical table. She was tied down. She wasn't resisting at the time, but when the shaman began the extraction and the prayers, you could see the body wanting to come off the table or to move, and she was
how
fighting.
old was she?
The woman was probably in her late 20s.
Okay.
Yeah. And she had taken on many identities. They thought she had multiple personalities because she would
Another mental
not
illness.
respond
Yeah.
unless you called her a certain name and things because many spirits had taken over her body.
Now, how did she get to that state? Was she just in a depressed state or sick or ill or something
She
like that?
was going through one hell of a time. She was going through domestic violence.
Oh, okay. So
her
she
children
was-
were scattered. She had real problems.
She was
going
kind of a
on.
target then, I
Yeah,
guess.
and
for-
drugs and alcohol, can play a part in that as well.
Well, and that I can understand. She would want to deaden the,
Yeah.
Well, her emotions. And,
whatever was possessing her. Didn't want to feel anything, so she would deaden that with either drugs or alcohol. And and that just made her weaker,
Yeah.
more able to control. Yeah. So, like I said, we know they happen, but they don't happen as often as people think they do, or you see on TV. So no matter. So people just keep that in mind, huh? What are the signs of a possession versus an attachment?
Okay, versus an attachment.
Yeah.
A person who has an attachment can usually function.
Okay.
They can go to work and take the kids to school and do all that, and then they'll have their moments where it will come out and they'll behave a certain way. Or it's just affecting them silently and they don't tell anybody, which happens quite a bit.
But they still act as though they're still themselves.
They're still themselves, very much themselves. And with the possession, it's clearly different. With the possession, the person goes through a process. You know, they go through something traumatic, or they're not themselves. They usually are unable to go to work and function because the energy is in them. They're not behaving properly, and they like to detach themselves from anyone who may notice. So oftentimes they're tucked away in a room. They won't be around family or friends. They want to be alone, so they're secluded.
Okay.
You also notice, because the behaviors are just bizarre. I know we're talking about the case I just mentioned, but one of them that I actually had in Clovis, California, a couple years ago was pretty fantastic. And this woman was a very tall, thin vegetarian, and she was leaving in the middle of the night to go eat meat. And somebody spotted her at an In-N-Out late at night before closing, I would imagine. But she had ordered that big Decker hamburger, the one that has like 4 or 5 patties in it,
Yeah.
and she was eating it like an animal. And this is something that she would have never done. And somebody spotted her that knew her and told her husband, thank goodness.
But it was but it's that bizarre behavior.
Yeah,
Things that they wouldn't normally do.
they would never do.
Or say.
They act out in certain ways. They are, not loving when they normally are loving.
Now, this is over a period of time. I know there are stages. There are things like an infestation, then we have the obsession, then we have the possession, and then
The oppression and then the
oppression.
possession. Yeah.
That's it, oppression
Yeah.
and then the possession.
Yeah.
Right. But
and
it
what'll
starts
hap-
off small.
It does. It starts off small, and then what usually happens is, your family members will start to notice, and they'll usually, meaning well, will send you to a doctor, and you'll get medication for something like that to numb it or to deaden the feeling of it that comes with it. And I think that's actually not helping them at all. I think it actually makes them more vulnerable. They put them under medication when they actually should be getting some kind of help, spiritual help.
And I was, when I was doing the research for this, I was looking up the exorcisms, and I know Pope Francis has been a big advocate for training priests to be exorcists, and he's really advocating that and promoting
There's
that.
a shortage.
Well, yeah, there's a shortage.
Actually.
Well, yeah,
Gee, I
because-
wonder why.
Yeah,
Well, I think I'm going
Such
to grow up
fun.
and be an
Yeah,
exorcist.
and I think
Jeez.
his reasoning was, I think I got it here somewhere, but his reasoning was that I guess more people are aware, and he's counting on priests all over the world to, if they see the need for an exorcism, that they need to, don't hesitate to call for those services right away. He says, let's see. Disorders could have their roots in all matter of circumstances, including supernatural ones, he suggested. The confessor must not hesitate to refer to exorcists chosen with great care and prudence. So, I mean, he sees the need, and I think he's upped the bar. He opened the school, reinforced the priests that if they feel that that's necessary, that they need to, right away, they need to call for the service. And I know we have an exorcist or two here in the Valley.
Yeah, we do.
So, and I get them on the show. But
And the reason that I get phone calls for this type of work is because there's a long period of time
Yes.
and a process.
yes,
They have to see a doctor, and it takes time for them to be able to go and
Yeah.
check the property,
Right.
the premises, and they will ask you to remove objects from your home that they think are contributing to your symptoms. So you'll be asked to remove things if you're.
yeah. Well, and I agree that it's a long, involved process, and this is not something that happens overnight. As well as with the possession itself. The possession itself, I mean, it goes for a long time.
Yes.
It doesn't happen in a week.
Yeah.
People need to know that. I got an email. Guy was certain his girlfriend was possessed because she kept twisting and turning and moaning in her sleep, and he was certain the ghost was having sex with her, or she was having sex with the ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the after show.
Yeah. He wanted an investigation. I'm going. What can I investigate?
Yeah, exactly. While you're sleeping.
I'm not going to sit there and watch her sleep.
Yeah.
You know? I said, you know, he maybe want to look up the definition of wet dream, you know.
He needs a nanny cam is what he needs.
There you go.
Perfect,
Jeez.
perfect. But,
Well,
It must be spirit.
yeah, it couldn't be that I'm ineffective. It's got to be that there's some going on.
Yeah.
Oh, well. But I was going to ask you, so, and I don't want to open up a door here and have you get a bunch of phone calls,
Oh.
but,
she wants phone calls.
okay. Yes, I'd like to open up this door and have you get a bunch of phone calls. No, but I'm wondering, so can you, because you're extremely talented, and we all know that, and we trust your opinion, can you, if someone was to walk in and say, I need help, I think I'm possessed, but I haven't been to a doctor yet, can you just by using your abilities kind of go, I'm not really feeling anything, I think you need to see a doctor, or can you go, yeah, go on in the back room right now, we need to do some work?
I can tell immediately.
You can? Okay.
I can tell immediately.
Okay.
It doesn't quite go that way. You know, I wouldn't
mean,
want
I'm
to be
just-
alone with them.
Okay.
You know, and you know, it's just not a good
Right.
idea to be alone.
Right.
But yeah, I can see it immediately.
You can, okay.
And the reason I say that I'm a spiritual warrior, I was chosen for this job, is because I get physical sensations
Okay.
when I'm around that type of energy.
Oh,
So I know
okay,
I
okay.
know the difference between a spirit attachment. I'm going to hear it and feel it and sense it psychically. I'm going to get all of those things. But somebody who comes in that's possessed or has that issue, I will feel a sensation of pushing underneath my chin, like if someone took a pencil and pushed it
Wow.
really hard up here. That's something that I have been given
Just
to,
how your
to
body
know.
reacts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not a good feeling. So luckily it's only happened a few times. But.
And I know other people get other different
do.
sensations. They get headaches. They get Jason. His limbs go numb when he's around
Wow.
energy. Yeah,
Wow.
and there's and if some people see the blackness or the gray or whatever aura or something surrounding them. So yeah, different people, different psychics, clairvoyants, mediums. They see
it in a different way.
Right. Yeah,
Wow.
whatever
That's interesting.
whatever the gift is.
Yeah.
So you feel more.
Everything. I would see it
see
and
it too?
feel it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would see it. Possession, not so much. You don't see so much around them clairvoyantly, and I think that's because their energy is suppressed. So I'm not going to see this big, ring of fire around them or anything like that. I'm glad you brought that up because now I realize that you don't see that in possessed people, but in attachments you do. You can
So
see.
you would see in attachment, you'd see maybe a dark figure or something maybe, but or
It would look like a double of you, or it would look like a shadow double of you, kind of
okay.
popping out behind your aura.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I know the Catholic Church, the way they tell the difference, this is just one way, but they say the prayers, whatever prayers they say, and if there's a reaction, then it's negative, demonic, whatever. But if there is no reaction, then it's probably a mental illness. And that's kind of a simplified version, but there's otherwise a clairvoyant medium can react differently, and they can also sense some kind of either attachment or even a possession. Some can. I mean, so.
Yeah.
Do you find, and this is a random question, and maybe there aren't any data on it or not, but do you find that there are more possessions, real possessions, with people who are more religious or more atheists or
That's a good
specific types of religion? I mean, is there, because I mean, my whole family, they're mostly atheists, and I don't know of anything, but in my history or background, but it seems like a more religious-based family, kind of, it just seems like, it's probably just my own interpretation from television and the media, seems like they have more of that kind of thing, and I don't know why. Are they being attacked because they have a strong belief, or, I mean...
I love that question, and I love it because I think maybe people who are religious are more open that there is, first of all, a spirit or an angel or different energies or entities. They're more aware of that, and so they are open to the possibility that it could be. Okay, but along with that comes healthy fear and respect coming out of that little bit of fear going on. And so I do know that when fear is introduced, that is a veil that spirit can come through. When you're fearful, energy can transfer a lot quicker. So in regards to your question about, do atheists experience it? Because I've heard some people say, oh, atheists, they don't believe in God, so they're, this is going to happen to them because they're godless. But no, I don't believe that. I think they're actually a little more protected because it's not a possibility for them. And so they don't allow that to happen to them.
That makes sense.
They don't put any energy into it.
Yeah,
Thinking about
they're
it.
not afraid of
It's
it.
just
so
out of the
it's-
question. So
Yeah.
and that kind of works in their favor because it's just out of the question that they're going to take over my body. It's my body. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Well, sure. I have all kinds of weird questions.
Fire away. You've got her now on the hot
I
seat,
know. I
so
got to
it's
hurry up
like-
and think of all my weird questions at one time.
Well, let's lighten this up a little bit. We're going to lighten up a little bit because it's time for.
As the paranormal world turns, yes, indeed.
Okay.
Sit down and have some Jiffy Pop.
I hope I can get through this with a straight face. I came across this little item the other day from a woman named Susan. No relation to our Susan.
No.
She's 51 and lives in Wolverhampton, England. And well, listen to her own words, and I quote, "I always hoped my Bobby would contact me from the other side to let me know that he was okay. But I never expected him to do it like this. You see, I think my Bobby's spirit is somehow trapped inside me, and he's desperate to get out."
Ew, Bobby. So you need to have an accent when you quote her.
Oh, I'm sorry. "I suffer from terrible wind, and when I release it, it's always such a relief.
Hey, ducky.
I was in the toilet making myself comfortable when I farted, and I swear I heard the words, 'Help me,' in my Bobby's voice. Now I'm convinced he's inside me and is begging to be released. It's left me terrified to break wind."
Ew.
She's in a world of hurt. Because if she can't break wind,
She's terrified to break wind.
I've heard that that's actually a very healthy sign, is to break wind.
You know, you have to tie a string to your toe because you'll float away.
No.
It's in Wikipedia.
Just going to hang on to that as long as you can.
But I mean, obviously, and I know we're laughing, but obviously the lady needs some help, and probably mental illness help. She's probably still grieving for her son. So she hasn't gone through that grieving process yet, but for acceptance. But
A gas.
Yeah, but that's like that makes me think of helium balloons, when you take or not even
Yeah.
any balloon and you take it's a little visual. You take the end of it and you go, meep, meep, meep,
Yeah.
meep, and you can
Help
make it say
me.
things. You can kind of,
you can do whatever you want.
baby
That's
says
okay
hit
with
me. Bring me some pie.
Wow.
I mean, you can't say anything.
But there are a lot of people like this. There are a lot of people that, for whatever reason, maybe it's they have some mental issues, and they need to get address them so that they.
I think she just needs a colonoscopy or something. Maybe there's
Well, why don't you write to her and tell her to get a colonoscopy?
I think I shall. It's not your Bobby in there.
It's a foot.
It's some old rice pudding that's gone to pot.
And that's our As the Paranormal World Turns item for this episode.
Never be afraid to break wind.
Never be afraid to break wind. I don't care how many times you hear, "Help me."
Close the door.
Somebody's crawling up my ass to get into my.
Yeah, what the?
Let's not dwell on
Wasn't
it.
there
Let's not dwell on it.
Story about a gerbil? Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. So, moving forward, without gas. All right. Well, we've been talking about spirit attachments and possessions. And we came across this item that we happen to think was very interesting. Now, a Bangkok-based Thai Smile Airways has initiated a new policy that many people would find unnerving. The owners of Lukthep, or god dolls, which are lifelike human effigies believed to contain actual children's souls, can now have their own seats. According to a report from UPI, increasing numbers of Thai women are purchasing these expensive and lifelike Lukthep, also known as child angels, which have been heavily promoted by media celebrities in Thailand. The eerie effigies are the creation of Mananya Mamaning Bunmi, who claims that each doll is infused with a child's soul. Now, buyers then shower the expensive dolls with lavish gifts and clothes as a form of offering to the child's spirit. The Bangkok Post stated executives at Thai Smile Airways decided to accommodate Luke Thep owners after several of them insisting on seating the dolls in their laps or on nearby empty seats, which violates the safety regulations.
What safety regulations? Who's going to get hurt?
Maybe
the doll?
Maybe they're a little pokey. Maybe, you know,
Okay.
you have some turbulence and one smacks you in the face. Anyway. So the new policy allows the dolls their very own seats, as long as the owners fork over the cost of a ticket. The airline even issued a staff memo instructing flight attendants to treat the dolls like living, breathing human beings. So,
I don't know.
now, I guess, if you're getting the cost of a plane ticket out of it, the airline's going to accommodate that. It's like, well, sure, I'll let your doll sit right here. Let's buckle them in and get them a soda. Give me $300. Oh. If I owned an airline, I'd.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the person that really needs that seat to get from A to B can't have that seat.
It's already bought.
Yeah, they're getting hauled off. They're getting hauled off the plane.
And beaten with a doll. Smack. No,
Well,
but
we did a segment on these lifelike dolls a while back, a couple of years ago, and they do look very real. And I didn't see a picture of this one. I'm gonna see if I can try to find.
Is it adult? Is it like a real life size child?
No, it's like that's like the picture here.
Well, from what I could see, it looks small.
Yeah, that's like a regular doll size.
Well, that little one in the picture, I don't know if we're going to show that picture, but it looks like a little weird, creepy Elvis or something.
Yeah, we're going to show this picture. But getting infused with a child soul. Now, where the hell are they getting these child souls?
They're not.
Well, yeah.
But what a great TV movie that would make, wouldn't it?
Well, it's called Chucky. And the Bride of Chucky.
Did Chucky fly
and
on
the
an
Chucky
airline?
Clown and then
Chucky Airlines.
I think he was in the baggage compartment.
Oh.
That's an
No wonder he's pissed.
Yeah. But,
This is assuming that they had control, that they can choose a child. They could choose a child spirit to be in the doll. And that's weird. Who can do that?
Where would you get one? I mean,
Well, now, on our last episode, we had the Boon Me spirit collecting whatchamacallit. Yeah. And I think that Mrs. Wait a minute, I just saw Boon Me here again.
No, it was Boon Mir. I thought the same thing you did.
So maybe that's the
Boon
cousin
Me,
of this person, Mama Ning, Boon Me. Maybe that's their affiliates in some way, and they capture these little baby souls and put them in the dolls.
You capture a baby soul.
I know.
I don't know.
I mean, it has to be roaming around without a body. So where would
yeah.
you? I mean, did you? What do? Entice it with some candy. You want some candy, little girl? And to
ice cream.
Capture it and then infuse it into the doll.
I don't. That's absolutely. It's just capitalizing on a hysteria. That's all.
Well,
and they're making probably quite a killing on these dolls.
Yeah.
So
well, it's promoted by media celebrities, obviously over in Asia.
Good
so it's like, I'm going.
This is like the Cabbage Patch in Asia.
Well, the popularity maybe, but not the
I don't think we built it in Cabbage Patch, unlike United or anything. So.
Well, I don't understand the safety. I mean, whose safety are they talking about? The dolls? It's a doll.
I don't know. And if it's a soul, it's already dead. So can it get re-deadified? What?
Obviously.
Wait a minute.
Jackie said that's not possible.
It's not.
So it's not possible.
It's not possible.
It's not
It's just
possible.
not.
So don't buy a doll. Don't buy a
It's a scam.
doll.
It's a scam, folks.
It's a scam. It's a scam, folks. You heard it here.
You've been warned.
Okay.
Well.
All right. We're going to talk. I know we've touched on it a little bit, but we're going to talk about. Oh no, they're telling me to wrap it up. I got so much more to go.
Oh man.
Yeah. Okay, real quick, we've been talking about this, the mental illness versus possession attachment. But I want to read you this article that it actually just came out just a month ago or so. A 14-year-old Ohio boy accused of killing his dad's girlfriend said that his alternate personality snapped before he attacked the woman he affectionately referred to as Mom, according to reports. Officials with the Champaign County Sheriff's Office responded to a Mad River Township, well, even the name suggests, home Thursday night after Donovan Nicholas allegedly called 911 to say 40-year-old Heidi Faye Taylor was dead. Taylor, with whom Nicholas lived and described as his mom, had been stabbed and shot. It wasn't me who killed her, it was Jeff, Nicholas can be heard saying. He sometimes takes control and I have no control. I have no control over him, it's not fair. Nicholas was charged with 1 count each of aggravated murder and murder. So here we have the, it could be true. I mean, I'm not going to say no, it can't be true, but it could be true.
I think it's probably mental illness.
Well, and I agree. It probably is, but I think that the other side should also be explored. I don't know that we could rule that out 100% without investigating.
In your knowledge, has there ever been a case where someone who was possessed actually murdered someone? Because I've never
heard of it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty rare, and if it has, they've made a couple movies out of the accounts. That's rare. I mean, we can't look how hard it is to prove that somebody was murdered, period, much less something that we can't even see.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like, and completely correct me if I'm wrong, because that's just my own experience or my own knowledge base, which is limited. But isn't it more when someone is possessed, that entity or whatever it is just focusing on that person? They're not going, oh, I'm going to be in this person and then make them kill all these other people. It's more like, I'm just going to destroy you, kind of.
I think you're right, and it just depends on your point of view. I mean, if you're probably a religious person, a really religious person, you might say that the devil made me do it, or that would, somebody made them do it. But I think it's probably safe to say that it's an illness.
It's
something
illness.
else.
It's something.
And I would tend to agree as well. But I mean, I don't want to rule out possession either, or spirit possession.
Yeah, but why would someone who's possessed? I mean, I don't know. This is not my territory. But why would whatever is possessing them choose to kill? Weenie, meenie, miny, mo, whatever.
Well, the spirit, apparently Jeff, who is the alter ego, said that he was tired of her. Let me get that here. I think in my notes, it said, because he was asked, why did he want to do that? And let me see if I can pull that up here. Come on. Of course, you know to be on the last page, right?
While you're looking at it, another weirdo quick question.
Yeah.
Do you remember, I remember when I was a kid, there was a book, and I think it was a movie too, that came out called Sybil.
Yes.
Where she had so many
Sally
multiple.
Field.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe someone like that, I mean, I don't remember how it turned out, but do you think there's a possibility she could have actually been maybe possessed? Or do you think it was just mental illness?
I'm open to the possibility that because of how many different spirits or personalities were coming through. I mean, she's a rare case, and I'm open to that it could have been a possession because of the lady that we extracted. I think she had about 6 or 7 spirits in her.
Wow.
And during the extraction, they actually will say who they are. The spirit will say, give a name or give some kind of language while they extract. So that's how we count them.
So were they,
we know how many.
Were they living people at one time?
No,
They'll say a name
these
like
were
a biblical
energies.
name or something? Or?
They'll if they're a high-ranking demon, they will state their name.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Or a word that we don't understand.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't sound human or doesn't sound like a language.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
When he asked why he or Jeff hurt Taylor, apparently the boy said Jeff was tired of her. She always did drugs and totally like ignored me. And once she hit me, and he was just like done. So that's why Jeff, or he, stabbed her, shot her, and
Wow.
and also he was in a lot of pain because he was also stabbed by Jeff in the leg. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a sad tale. I mean, not only to have committed murder, but then to be mentally ill on top of it. But then again, you still don't know whether or not he's been possessed. I mean, demons can make you do things that you don't normally do, right? And even though we've never heard of one committing murder, it's possible. It's possible. But it's rare, folks.
Yeah.
I want to impress upon that to all you. It's rare, very rare. You see it in the movies, but it's not something that happens every single day. So if you suspect...
And the criminal justice system is not going to shine upon you and
That's
go,
right.
it's okay,
That's
it's
right.
possessed.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
no.
right.
So don't get any sweet ideas about often.
Okay, how much time do I have left? Somebody tell me how much time? 0?
Really?
Man, we still got... Okay, well, we're not going to be... You're just going to have to come back.
I had fun. I think I will.
That'd be
Yeah, I had a
awesome.
good time.
gee,
That would be
thanks.
I did. I had a good time.
We still
love
got
to.
lots of other subjects to talk about, and I wanted to talk about portals, and we wanted to talk about smudging, and we just got to get carried away talking about this interesting stuff. So, I don't know.
Maybe we need part 2.
Yeah, so we
Part
need a part
deux.
2. So, Montra, you want to wrap it up?
Alrighty then. So let's see.
We're going to wrap this up.
Where are we going to start to wrap it up?
Page 4.
Alrighty. Well, that about wraps it up. If you'd like to see what CCPI is up to, check out their website and calendar at www.ccpifresno.org. And you can check me out on Facebook at the Ultimate Female Bigfooting Team, and also at www.bluenorthinvestigations.com, which is very outdated, I might add, and someday that'll be fixed.
Okay, so we will see you all for the next show when our co-hosts talk about more paranormal topics on the last Wednesday of each month on the same channel and time. I hope you've enjoyed our show, and if you like what you've seen so far, go to our Facebook page to see what's coming up next. Post comments, ask questions, watch past shows, and don't forget to like our page at www.facebook.com/Paranormal Journeys.
And I want...
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, we got a big thank you to our special guest, Jackie Harris of Enlightenment and the Right Hand Path. And if you want to see what she's up to, we didn't say that yet.
No, we need to still say that,
Yeah,
yeah.
www.clairvoyantjackyharris.com and her Facebook page at www.facebook.com/groups/enlightenment559. And we're going to put those on the screen for you so everybody can go ahead and check her out. And I forgot the most important thing today. We have a Paranormal Journeys hat for you, and I forgot to bring it.
Oh, great.
So
Okay.
you're going to have to come back so I can give it to you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. And with that, take care.
And be safe.